Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to Business Innovators Radio. It's me, Luana Ribeira, and with me today I have Coach Andy and Cat Frances. Total power couple. Really excited to speak to these guys. Andy is a video coach. She helps people to get from camera shy to video rock star. And Kat is a mentor for people with autism and mental health problems. And what they're going to be talking to us today is about relationships. So this is a subject that's very close to my heart. They work together. So they're going to be talking about relationships and how to find an aligned business partner. So welcome, Kat and Andy.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, Luana.
I'm so excited to have you both on. So I've known, for anyone listening, I've known Andy for quite some time because you came to my acting academy, didn't you, Andy?
Yes, I did. I was a director.
Yes, and it was really awesome to have you there. So I'm super excited to have both of you on today. So I would love to know, you've both got your own directions that you're going in with your careers, but then you work together on projects. How does that work for you? Like, how do you maintain the harmony? Like, for example, say one of you's got a different opinion on something. How do you make it work? Talk to me.
Well, you could start with that one.
The good thing about Andy is really honest with me. So when we come up with ideas and we're talking about stuff and we might not agree on something, Andy is just really honest with me. He doesn't sugarcoat it, but I'm not saying that he does it in a mean way, but he's just so good at just telling me this is how I feel about it. And we're quite good at sort of sitting down and compromising and just being really honest with each other. And he helps me to think about why I came up with that idea as well. Like, if it's something that might not work in the long run, he might say, oh, well, what made you think that? And we'll have a really good chat about it. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, it's true. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think. What was the question again? Of course, I lost track.
How do you make it work? You know, when you're working together, how do you maintain the harmony?
That's right, yeah. So, yeah, it's always about, like, with a relationship, it's massively about communication. So I think that's what you're talking about, isn't it? Like, we have to just communicate and also be patient with each other and, like, make sure, check in if they're understanding what you're saying when you're communicating. Yeah. And not just think, oh, you should understand that because I communicated. It's like, no, because they might understand things differently to the way you understand things. And that's why I've realized in relationships. So sometimes, like, I'm interested in the Myers-Briggs personality types. I'm an INFP. And the opposite of me is an ESTJ, which oftentimes can be people that are they think that they can teach me something. And they're just like, I've told you the information, therefore you should be able to learn it. And I'm just like, well, no, I don't learn. I learn something different to the way you might learn it.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a really important point, isn't it? And this is also transferable because I do this with team. Like, you know, if I explain something to my assistant, then, you know, I'll say, okay, so how are we going to go about this? And just make sure that she understands. So, you know, we're talking relationships here. You know, it can be a romantic relationship or a business relationship with a business partner and also with a team, because it's all transferable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, so honesty, being upfront and communication.
Yeah. And it's that patience. Because even though I've sometimes had problems with being patient, I've learned a lot from our relationship, like to be more patient. Because for Kat, you have sometimes have problems with like understanding things, in terms of what's the word, like processing information. Some information at one go. I've got to slow down and go, right, I've told you one thing, you've got to process that. And it's funny because I'm the same, but then I didn't realise when I'm talking to someone, I don't give him that same time that I need.
It's so when Andy's really passionate about something, he tends to talk about it quite quickly. And for me, I need to kind of sit there and process the information. But I don't know if I might do the same to you, actually. When I'm really passionate, sometimes I'm talking quite a lot as well. But we both just need to be honest about that and say, oh, I haven't quite fully understood what you said, or could you break it down for me a little bit more? And that's something that we have started to do more often. And particularly when we were doing a lot of work together over the summer, we really had to sit down and sort of talk to each other about that, didn't we? And say, okay, you process this way, I process that way. And And it's funny because even though we've got very similar personality types, we're both really sensitive people. So then it's like, it's we still have to think about like being patient for each other, and I guess that's why, really, because we're both sensitive. We need to have patience.
I totally get that. So it's like you need to be open and communicate well, and to be patient with each other, how you process information and how you deliver that information. And it's just really getting to know each other well, isn't it?
Yeah. And and just not be, and like something that Andy's talked about before is being curious about the other person as well. Don't just assume that you know them, even if the business partner is a friend that you've had for a long time. Sometimes you can think, oh, I really know this person, I've known them for 10 years, they do this, they do that, and then actually it turns out you don't know them after all.
Do you know what? I can feel that one. 100%. So you've got a process around how to find an aligned business partner. Was that right?
Yep, that's right.
So let's go into that. What are your 3 steps?
So number 1, you identify the values. So like if you've got the same values, that's what you want. If it's somebody that's out of alignment with your values, then that's step number 1. It's like, well, they've not met that one. That's like the basic one.
Yeah, because it's a bit like a test of values, isn't it? Like it's easy for people to say, yeah, I've got the same values as you, but then actually as time goes on, it turns out they haven't, and that's kind of through testing them and getting to know them better to see. Yeah.
So So how do you know because you were just saying a minute ago about how you can think that you know somebody and they're not. So how do you know from the very beginning if this person's genuine or if they are just saying what they know you want to hear?
I think it's just being curious again, like asking them questions and like in a situation, like an interview situation, when you can be curious, the more curious you can be, the better the interview will be, and when you can be present with the person and actually look and find blind spots in them that you think, oh, I can investigate that more. Don't we feel like rude to do it? Just do it because you're a business partner. You've got to know everything. You don't want to hide anything from each other. So if they're hiding something, you've got to investigate.
And I think an important thing as well is trusting your instincts. I think sometimes it sounds really silly and really obvious, but sometimes you might just have a feeling about someone where you think, I really like them, we really get on, but there's something not quite right.
Yeah, it could be like people say gaslighting. People could say like rationally, could say, "Oh, you don't really know what you're talking about here," and it's like, but I've got a feeling, so I'm going to trust that feeling because that's more important.
That's
it.
I'm really feeling this. I really am. I've had my own experiences with business partners, and I could have done with this chat a while ago, but something. Just to go deeper into something you said there, Kat. every time I have had a bad experience with a business partner, my instincts have been absolutely screaming at me, and I've ignored them.
Yeah.
And it's been because I felt guilty. It's been like I've just struggled to be around that person for no reason, and I couldn't see anything logical in it. Like, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I really like this person. Why am I struggling to be around them? And that now I can look back and see that was my instincts screaming at me to get away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think sometimes because sometimes you can worry too much about rationality, can't you? And think, oh yeah, I have these feelings, but oh well, this person's ticking all the boxes. You know, they say the right things, they look right, they know the right people, and then you can kind of use rationality too much of it and think, oh, I have these bad feelings, but I'll just brush them to the side. So
yeah, it's making me think about when I've been to networking events or like events based around filmmaking and stuff. And like I remember going to like a Q&A session of somebody who worked in TV that was a camera person, I think, and they had a team. They only worked with one other person. Like sometimes in TV, it's like just one person, another person, and it's like he's getting surprised how small the crew is. But then they're saying, oh yeah, just find someone that you really can work with well, because even if they're not necessarily the best at the job, it's better to be around someone that you enjoy being around, and your work's going to be better when you feel good, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Do you know what? I just cannot work with people I don't get on with. Whether that's, you know, as a business partner or in a collaboration or even like a client, I can't do it. I won't do it. Do you know?
That's it, yeah.
It's not worth it, is it?
Your standards and your, what's the word? Like boundaries. You got to get those boundaries.
Exactly. Totally, yeah. It's not worth the headache of, you know, we do these things because we want to create freedom and we want to be happy. And if we've got somebody dragging us down, it's not good, is it? We need to let go of that. Awesome. Okay, so identify the values. Yeah. What comes next?
So step 2 is test resilience. So like engineer confrontation, but not necessarily in a way where you punch someone or anything, but like in a way. But in a way that's like challenge them, because it's like this one kind of comes back to the people pleasing stuff that I talk about quite a lot. Like if you're a people pleaser, you're not going to test resilience and you're not going to engineer confrontation because you think, I want to please everyone and be liked by everyone. But when you're getting an aligned business partner, you can't be thinking like that. You've got to be like, this is serious. I can't be pissing about with it. I've got to test some resilience here. So you could say, oh, I don't really like that shirt you're wearing today, or something like that. and they get really pissed off with you. Then you go, okay, maybe this isn't the person I want to work with because they're not very stable. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Can you give some more examples of how to engineer resilience? Like if you were going to work with somebody new now, how would you do that?
It's like speak your truth, I'd say. Just speak your truth as much as possible. And if they don't like your truth that you're speaking, then you're like, well, you're not the right person for me because I've just tested resilience and you're not working.
Totally. I'm a big believer in fully just being yourself, and the right people will stick around. And everyone else doesn't matter about them.
When you talk about not on this call, but I remember like you talk about swearing and stuff. And we both talk about that. We're like, swear on your content and don't give a shit if people don't like it or not. And when people say, be professional, say...
Yes. No, but seriously, like I won't speak to a client or a potential client or my audience any differently to how I speak to my friends if I'm out on a Saturday night, because you know that's me. I'm going to own that.
Yeah, well, if it's your lifestyle as an entrepreneur, you're creating a lifestyle. That's the biggest part of it. If your lifestyle is not what you're creating, like if you're creating a business and it don't fit with your lifestyle, then you're trapping yourself. So you've got to figure out what lifestyle you want. And the lifestyle includes you being authentic and being yourself without pretending to be someone else. That's
totally. Totally. Yeah. And, I have tried in the past. I have tried selling out and being a bit of a sheep, and it never worked out for me. It never lasted long. So just fully be yourself. Okay, so that's how you engineer resilience. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I am really glad that you're not going around punching people in their face to engineer resilience. That's good.
I've started martial arts, so I couldn't do it.
Cool. Okay, what's the third step?
Yes, right. It is to it's kind of about being complementary. So if the person, so do your strengths fit together and support both of your visions? So if you've got comes back to the values a bit, but it's about you've got your values and you've got your vision. Have you got the same vision, and is it complementary to your skills? That kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, exactly. Like if you want, there's no point taking on a business partner who's got the exact same skills as you, is it?
No, that's it. Yeah.
Better off having somebody who can, just owning our weak points and finding people whose strengths are our weaknesses.
Yeah, because you could easily end up in an echo chamber of somebody like, oh, I'm the guy that does video. Oh, I'm the guy that does video. We've got some similarities or something, and it's like, yeah, but you don't need that person because you've got to
and then you can end up clashing as well, can't you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because with what we've been doing, Andy's been the video guy and the editor, and I've been the driver. So we've
there we go.
And you've been the model in the videos.
Oh yeah, and I've been the model in his videos.
Brilliant!
On stock footage and stock images together. So I've been doing the modeling and bits in the videos, and then Andy's been doing all the filming and editing.
And also for the music video, you were modeling that.
And I also was in the music video that we did. But we do have skills that are similar that also complement each other as well. Like we both do poetry.
Yeah, that's another thing actually. Because the music video, what happened was I created like a really short song basically, but and it was just on guitar, and then you ended up writing a poem. And it was about a dream you had, but then it actually went with the atmosphere of the song that I'd written. So then we put it together, and you spoke out the poem over the top of it, and that's what the music video became of.
Yeah,
I love it.
Completely happened by chance, but I think that was because we both had those similar skills in the creativity department. But then we could, Andy could do his video stuff, and then I could do my part by being in the video and doing my speaking stuff. And
nice.
And then that day that we filmed it, I was doing all the driving. I was driving us around.
Yeah, because that's really useful to have when I'm not a driver. We can just go wherever we want. Because I've had situations where I have to get the bus with all my equipment and shit, which is not good.
So you both seem to have, a really nice, strong relationship. Tell me about when you have disagreements. What happens then?
Okay. Well, I disagree. Well, like I said before, Andy's really honest, so Andy just likes to tell me how it is, basically. And sometimes that really hurts. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, he said that one thing that I didn't want him to say. But actually, it's about your perspective, isn't it? And it's about, someone might say something to you that you don't like, but maybe it's something that you can learn from. So that's by not only being in a relationship with Andy, but also by doing our work together, our projects together, it's helping me to think more in that mindset of, someone's saying something that might sound painful, but actually they're just trying to help you. And, so that's kind of like that's kind of what our confrontations are like. It's sort of, Andy might say something really honest and truthful to me, and I at first might be like, oh my God, but then afterwards I do go away and I think about it and I'm like, right, yeah, I see what you mean.
Sometimes there's the tough love that is you realise it's more loving than not, because you just would be like, if you're a heroin addict, I give you the needle and put it in. It's like, because that's what you want in the moment, but then it's like what you're really going to want afterwards. You're going to be like, shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Because that's what I mean by like the pity, like you feed in sort of if someone's in victim and they're saying, oh, I'm rubbish, I can't do it, and then you're going, oh, that's so sad, and that doesn't work. So that's one thing about Andy, is he doesn't tell me what I want to hear when I am sort of in that sort of frame of mind. And I think that's a good thing, because it helps me to come out of it and see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I can imagine I have the same with Al. Like, he's very upfront about things, and he annoys the hell out of me. But I know that it's good. It helps me to grow. He challenges me. He doesn't just say yes to whatever. And it forces me to grow. And I think that's really, really important. And what about you, Andy? Is there anything, when do you get upset? Because you mentioned earlier that you're both very sensitive. What is it that might upset you, and how do you deal with it in your relationship?
I think things that offend, that annoy me, are things that can then get me upset afterwards. Is like if somebody criticizes something I've done but then doesn't give like constructive feedback. They just say like, oh, it's crap. Softened. Well, in the past at least, I think I'm better at that now, but it's definitely been something but for a long time I've like, that's the most annoying to me. If they don't have anything constructive, it's like, well,
exactly, it's pointless, isn't it?
Yeah,
completely pointless. Yeah.
So I always
cool.
And give me a direction. Like some people will sometimes, it feels like someone comes in and they drop a load of shit and then they walk off, and it's like, clean up your shit before you leave.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously you two are in a romantic relationship and you work together on business stuff. Do you ever find that you might have had a disagreement or something in your romantic relationship? How do you not bring that into your business?
For me, that was something that I was actually a bit concerned about at first, because I've never been part of a business before, and especially whilst being in a relationship with the business partner. But for me, I found it's just important to remember that I am Andy's partner. I'm his girlfriend, but I'm also in the business and I've got the same vision. So it's kind of like sometimes putting some of the romantic stuff aside temporarily, just to say, this is who we are, this is what we want to achieve together. So it's like the other night we were writing down what plans we've got for our business and where we want to take our projects in the future. And to be able to do that, I had to come out of I'm Andy's girlfriend mode to I'm Andy's business partner mode. And I think for me, it was just having the awareness of that and thinking, what's coming up for me right now? Why, what am I feeling? So, that's why. So, I mean, I don't think that's come up yet, has it?
No,
I don't
really.
think it's come up yet, but I think just being aware that it can come up is a really important thing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. One more question. How, obviously, like I've seen you both online and everything like that, and I can see you just leveling up constantly. How do you support each other through that leveling up period?
Do you think about the holding accountable stuff?
Yeah, we did an interview a while ago, or we did some videos before about holding each other accountable, and that's something that we do in our relationship because we want to make sure that the other person is achieving what they want out of life. So we're not, and it kind of comes back to that thing that we said about, when someone's in victim, giving them sympathy. It's like, instead of doing that, let's remind them of why they're really here and why they want to achieve this vision. Yeah. And if you're giving someone sympathy, you can't really do that. You're not doing that. Yeah. So
it makes me think of like when you're trying to talk to somebody, so you have to smash through their ego. That's why I think You have to like it's like you can't really entertain any of it. You're like, I can't entertain that because I've got to talk to your soul. Get that the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. And that can be so painful, can't it?
Yeah, but then you've got to accept that that's the part. That's how the process has to be.
Part of the process.
No way. There's no way. You've got to do that. That's the way.
Yeah. It's true. There's no easy way around it. You've just got to go through it. And that's fantastic. So, do you know what time it is now? It is time for the section of the show that I call Get in the Bin. Now then, Andy and Kat, you get to choose one business practice or idea, something that you despise, something that really grinds your gears that you want to throw in the bin. What's it going to be?
It's when people disempower people by pushing on the pain points and sort of doubting them, making them doubt themselves before you get. So you say, "Oh, you doubt yourself right now, and I'm going to make you believe in yourself." It's like, they put you down to bring you back up again. It's almost like with a film.
Oh, there's no need for it, is there?
No, sometimes a film has an arc where it's like, we're going to put the character down just to get back up again into the same level, but they don't actually get any further than they were.
It's like I'm gonna break you down and then I'm gonna rescue you. It's wrong on so many levels. I instantly, when people, and I see it coming from a mile away, like people come and try and push my pain points. I run. I've got no interest. I love it when people want to empower me. Like if they want to pitch to me, I love it when they say, what you do is great. I can help you to do that and make it exciting instead of making you, it's just, it feels wrong, doesn't it?
Something really, I find really heavy about that. It's just like this really heavy feeling like, now you're assuming that my life is really terrible without your service or product. And it's like, well, actually, why are you coming from that mindset that's so negative and so...
Exactly. What's wrong with, hey, my life is awesome. I could make it even better with this thing. Like that, that's what works with me, is getting me excited about something. And
I think if people use that technique, though, they don't really believe in their service. I think they feel like, my service isn't really that good, so I've got to push you down just to bring you back up again.
Yeah, it's very old school, isn't it? And also, I think that technique, if you're working with people who already have established businesses, they've already reached a certain level in their mindset, generally, where that technique really doesn't work, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because they know what you're doing, they can see through it. Oh, I'm with you on this one. Let's do it. Get in the bin. Get in the bin with your disempowering sales techniques. It's gone. Vanished. Awesome.
It's gone.
Andy and Kat, you have been absolutely fantastic. For all of these listeners who want to find out more about you and who maybe would like to work with you in the future, where can they find out more about you?
So they can visit our YouTube channel called Tourmaline Films, which is where I actually done some other stuff on there. I did a documentary on there, and that's where we've done our music video that we talked about. And we're going to release a documentary series on there when we start releasing that. And you can also find me, coachandy.co.uk. And there's also a free Facebook group I've got also, which is called Unleash Your Inner Lion.
I am in that group. It's a good group. Get over there, everybody. Get over there now. Awesome. Kat and Andy, absolute superstars. Thank you so much to everybody listening. You weren't born to be ordinary. You were born to shine.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.